Right, that was a shit qualifying. So, just the first session, and that was alright, I think. Hey guys, what's up? Rotax here, and welcome back to this brand new video. And today it is time for another race weekend. So currently it's Thursday, I've literally just arrived. That's our van right there, and we're going to build up a tent right next to it. Last time we had a tent here, we got a podium, so I hope this brings good fortune again. So yeah, we're back in Kerpen, my favorite track of course. And I hope we can get some good results this weekend, because now we've got a good kart. The team is not here unfortunately, because I'm the only driver. Yeah, there was some political behind the scenes stuff which caused the micros and minis of my team not to drive this weekend. But yeah, I'm here, I've got my mechanic, I've got my own tent with me, and I'm going to build it up now actually.
So, it's back to my old and trusted tent. We've had this thing for ages now, and for my entire time as a non-team driver, this used to be our little headquarters. Now the reason that the team is not here is the fact that for this round I was the only driver. Normally we have 5 micro and mini max drivers, but they couldn't join us for this weekend because there were some last minute calendar changes. Luckily we did have full track support, but the tent was something we had to provide ourselves. So setting this thing up is kind of easy. As you could see, I first had to do the canvas on the floor, then the roof was still on the frame, and you just extend that and it's just easy. The sides are all velcro, so putting those up can easily be done by yourself too. And after like 20 to 30 minutes the thing is standing.
Right, a little while later it's up. So yeah, this is our little heaven for the weekend. Yeah, we used to do it like this before we joined MDB Motorsport, because if you guys didn't know, I have pretty much been a privateer for my entire career with the exception of 2018. Over here, well, I don't have it with me yet, my dad will bring it. There will be a table with which you can eat, look at data and all that stuff. Those are 2 windows which we are still yet to open. There you can see a little bit of light coming through. Here this is actually a thing from IKEA. Here you can put in your gloves, rib protector, helmet and everything. And it's pretty solid, it won't fall, it definitely won't fall. Then up here we've got some lighting and some more power sockets. Then here we have the trustworthy table, all of the liquids and sprays over there, toolbox. And here is another window which I have not opened yet. And then over here we have the van, which is absolutely messy at this point, so I have to clean it up, but yeah, that's something I'm going to do now actually. And also, if you're wondering how we're getting power, well, here look at the cable, goes all the way there, down there, outside, and then if you follow the cable, to there. Alright, everything is built up, also the caravan. Yes, we have a caravan this weekend. Normally we sleep in a little holiday house or we just go back home, but now we actually have a caravan. I'll show you that later on, but first we're going to do a track walk. By the way, look at the sky. It's pink. Nice and pink. Alright people, welcome to track walk / ride. Wait. Yeah, a friend of me was so nice to borrow me his little scooter, so let's do a little bit of a track guide. Over here you want to stick all the way to the left on these curbs so you can set up the next sequence of corners beautifully, because the exit to that hairpin there starts by positioning your kart correctly back there. So here you want to stick all the way to the right, or as far to the right as possible. Then into this fast left-hander, take a very late apex. Ideally you want to clip this curb here a little bit. Then you want to keep it in the middle or a little bit to the left here. A lot of people touch this curb very early, but you don't want to do that. You really only want to touch that last bit. Right here, and you will scrape your chassis, but if you stay here to the right, then you can take a beautiful line through this hairpin. But this corner right here is another cheeky overtaking spot, but you can only really use that in lap 1 actually. So now on the back straight, last week I had to push the kart over here, which was not very nice, it was very warm. Now we're going to one of the most awesome sequences of corners on the entire world. And remember, from all the way back there, all the way here, to the little grandstand right there is flat. So this corner, flat out to the left, and this corner is really sharp. You don't actually realize this when you're in the car, but the angle of this corner it's not a shallow corner, let's say that, or shallow, I don't know what to call it. Now going into the infamous Schumacher chicane, and on this curb you can see these deep ridges on the inside. You actually want to take it a little bit further so that you don't touch these, but when you're going high speed it doesn't really matter anyway. Then this one, take it fully. Usually we hit out these flaps and then you can take it more. The same goes for this one. Here, and you want to brake in between these 2 ones, and then in this one here we have actually a double apex, because the track actually falls away from you right here, and then at this second apex the track actually rises a little bit where I am now, and then here it falls away again. So a lot of times, because the track falls away from you here, you get a very loosey-goosey rear end. And now we're on the start-finish straight. Usually we get in the race we get up to speeds of about 120 kph. In the wet you want to clip this curb, of course, but in the dry you want to steer clear of it, because yeah, it's pretty useless. But in the wet it can actually help you rotate the kart, and you can take this corner flat in the rain. Here you want to brake far before these curbs starts, and then very gently take this right-hander, which is one of the only right-handers on the track actually. There are only 2 real right-hand corners. Here going into another very difficult corner with a late apex. You ideally want to clip it late so you can actually see the line over here. And here we get to the best overtaking spot of the entire track, but our little scooter is struggling with going uphill. But yeah, this is the best overtaking spot of the track, because the racing line requires you to go all the way to the right here, but if you just keep it straight here, you can just send it from so far away. I'll put a clip of that on the screen right now. Now we're going into the forest, which is the most famous part of the track. Taking the curb. I'm not going to use that with the scooter because I will fall flat on my face. Take that curb, then go here. We have a massive amount of banking, but you can't see that because it's getting dark. Take this curb all the way on the left. Don't touch those deep bridges again. And I believe we started out the lap right here. So here you gotta keep it to the right again, and from that start all over again. Meow. Hello guys, welcome to random big generic YouTuber, and today we're going to do house tour. Here we have outside, but you can't see anything because dark. Maybe when turn around you can see here nice little living quarters. You can see nice couch over here and with table, and the good thing is you fold down table, put cushions there, you have 2-person bed, very good. Then here you have all sorts of little cupboards where you can put stuff. There's stuff there, more stuff. Yeah, very nice. And there's a nice high quality lamp, came all the way from the far land of China. Under here we have a cupboard that won't open, maybe with a little bit of force. Yeah, there we go. We have stuff which you cannot see because dark, but there's barbecue here, yes. And over here we have another cupboard, very nice. Over here we have my little safe space, is toilet, and it's dark again. But if you press button, put on light, you see me there, hello. But yes, very nice. I filled that just a couple of minutes ago, very nice. Over here we have kitchens, very big, almost as big as the one we use in Tajikistan. Here we have nothing. Here we have fridge, very nice, but we, as you can see, I like water. It's almost like Nicolas Latifi with Nutella, but I like water. Then over here you have my bed. This is where magic happens. Now, but all serious and all, yeah, we got a caravan this weekend, and believe it or not, this is actually cheaper than renting out a hotel room. It's about half as cheap actually. Just put my laptop here. We have electricity as well, so yeah, I could just work here a little bit, put on the hotspot on my phone, have internet as well. Very nice. So yeah, I just made this TikTok on there, and by the way, if you don't follow me on TikTok, you should. Tomorrow it's time for free practice. We have 5 sessions of 15 minutes, or 6 actually, I don't know. Anyways, we've got a lot of testing to do tomorrow, so important to get some good sleep. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Alright people, good morning. I've had a wonderful night of sleep. I slept way better than I expected actually. So this is the completed tent tour. Here we have our IKEA thing with all the stuff in there. The windows are now open, lights on, looks way better in here now. Car's all ready to go, just waiting for my mechanic to arrive, and then after that we can go out on track and see what we can do.
Show me love that I never had seen before. When I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around.
Time for free practice. We went testing here a lot in the last few weeks, and in the first session it seemed to be paying off. We made some improvements, and that showed in the fact that we had at least a little bit of pace right from the get-go, which usually doesn't happen with me. Another thing that might not happen is me racing next year. Sadly, I haven't really got my budget ready for next year, but if we reach 20k subscribers before the end of the year, I might be able to get a sponsorship deal. If you want to help me get a seat for next year, please consider hitting that big red button. Anyways, back to the session. When you go for an overtake, don't do it like this. So what I did wrong here was brake way too aggressively and lock up the tires way too much, causing me to overshoot the corner and allowing the 318 to do the switchback. Ideally you want to have your front bumper next to his front tire and keep the kart stable and steady under braking. That way the other person can't make the inside of the corner, making his exit weak and allowing you to pull away immediately. One session later we went out on new tires, but for some strange reason we didn't go any faster than we did on the old tires. And in the session after that one, we once again did not manage to improve. The kart also felt weird on these new tires. The lap times we did were stuck on 45.5 for every session. In the first session this was a respectable lap time, but after that everyone started improving, whilst we didn't. Weird. Anyways, time for the registration and scrutineering. The registration is really nothing to write home about. You just go to the organization, confirm your presence and license number, pay the entry fee and poof, you're in the race. Scrutineering is also not really that special. Here they mainly just check your car to make sure it's safe to race with, plus they hand out the race tires. After the middle of the day, more testing sessions. And again, we set the same lap time in every single session we did. At this moment we had no clue what the fuck was going on. Also, I made mistakes that I normally don't make. Weird.
Alright guys, welcome back. Yeah, this day is turning out really weird so far. Never before have I managed to do exactly the same lap time every session. It's so weird, there's just like the kart feels very different every time because we're trying to set up things, but we're doing the same times every time. We definitely need to find some more time, so now we're going to switch to another axle. We're going to put the tilt seat in there, go on new tires, race engine, and then we'll see what happens. Alright people, we're back at the camping and that concludes the day. Yeah, the final session, it was delayed because there was some rubbish out on track and then we only had like 6 laps. But we managed to actually turn around the day today. Yeah, we changed a whole lot of things on the setup, took out the Jacko seat, put in the tilt seat, way better. We put on a new set of tires as well and we were suddenly on the pace. Like, I think we're missing about 2 tenths to the quickest guy. We managed to end the day positively, which is nice. And now, time to eat. Look at this. We now have a tent with the caravan as well. Going to have some nice food over here. To fry up some stuff. Very nice. Alright people, ignore my shower haircut. I just had a lovely shower at one of my neighbors, which was really nice. Yeah, all in all, weird day. But it ended on a good note, that's for sure. That's nice for a change. Yeah, I feel like actually we're the most competitive that we have been for the entire season. Yeah, I'm just going to have a look at the onboards for today. And yeah, the only real good sessions were the first one and the last one, but yeah, you guys know that already. Anyways, yeah, time to get some sleep very soon. And tomorrow, it's race day already, because this weekend we have a double event. Anyways, I'm going to go to sleep in not that long and see you guys tomorrow. Alright people, good morning. Yeah, I've had quite a rough night of sleep and that's because the storm kept waking us up. But anyways, we're back and luckily our tent's not that wet. So now we're going to do a little track walk to see what track's like because yes, this track dries very quickly, but the part in the forest that can stay wet for hours. So yeah, the track is pretty much wet. There are some dry spots, but yeah, if I had the choice, I think it would be wet for me. But yeah, I only have to drive in like more than an hour, so we'll see. Difficult. Alright guys, this is what I'm talking about. Like here it's dry, but if we go down here all the way, like in the deepest part of the forest, here you can actually still see the puddles on track. So this part always remains the most wet out of everything. Qualifying can pretty much be summed up in 3 words. I fucked up. Yeah, unlike F1, qualifying in karting is complete anarchy. There's one session of 7 minutes in which everyone must set their lap time. There are no rules about giving each other space. And also, the tires we use have a very specific peak performance window in lap 3, so it is super important to be able to set your time in that lap. But because there are no rules, when someone decides to become a roadblock in the middle of their qualifying lap in lap 3, they can. I definitely should not have selected this track position. Now I had to set my lap when the tires were already past their peak, which can cost up to 2 or 3 tenths. And this is the lap that eventually decided my grip position. Qualifying was over, P11. We set the 12th fastest time, but we moved up a place because someone got a penalty. Yet again a frustrating qualifying session, which was my fault. But in terms of results, this is actually the best qualifying of the season so far. Yet again a frustrating qualifying session which I completely botched myself, but despite that we still managed to set the best qualifying result of the season so far, which definitely shows that we are making at least some progress. Well, qualifying seemed to be an issue this year. Yeah, you saw it. So yeah, you might say I was unlucky, but I've learned that you create your own luck in this sport. And for some reason, this year I'm just not doing it correctly. Because if you mess up your own position, then you will get bad luck because of that. Anyway, still P12. But yeah, that could have been so much more again. But yeah, qualifying is for glory, racing is for points. So let's go.
Ga nog wel even kijken. Penalties is de 10e. Ja, ik heb geen idee.
Time for the pre-final. In this 10-minute race we will decide the starting grid for the final. The final determines the result of the day, so if you finish last in the pre-final and first in the final, you will be that day's winner. Both races count equally towards the championship, however. Anyways, we have a rolling start in karting, just like an F1 safety car start. We roll into the lines in double file, lights out, and away we go. We actually get a very decent getaway for once, which is very nice. But oh god, our race nearly ended there, but luckily we didn't sustain any damage from that. Then, turn 1, we gain a couple of positions and we survive the start. Nice to make it through the first phase of the race without getting damages or a penalty. That's a welcome change for once. By the way, if you want to see the full unedited races of this weekend, stay tuned. I will upload them on my channel soon. Skipping ahead to lap 2 now, we're still in P9. There's some shuffling around going on ahead of us which can be beneficial, but one of them spins and we have to take avoiding action, which sadly also makes us lose a place. So we're now in P9. Now it's a matter of staying with this group and striking when we have the chance. Sadly we just didn't have the pace in this race and we were especially losing time off of the exit of the last corner and by that also on the main straight. My exits off of the last corner combined with us having some engine issues as well made us an absolute sitting duck on the straights. Here I tried to do the switchback on the 354 but it doesn't quite work out and we use another position. Then literally the next lap we get overtaken in the same way on the same spot, but this time we do manage to do the switchback and we're able to keep the position. At this time I was having my hands full from defending from the guys behind us and then we go defensive into this corner, but then we get a little bit of a push and because of that both the 355 and 365 managed to get past us. Now pushing might seem unfair to someone who is unfamiliar with karting, but let me tell you this, pushing is a part of this sport. There's a difference between pushing someone out of the way, like what happened to us, and intentionally wrecking someone. We didn't have the pace anyways. After that, nothing much really happened. We came across the line in P13, but we got promoted to P10 because of penalties that other people got. We just didn't quite have the pace to really fight for positions in this race. Even though I wasn't satisfied myself, this was our best result of the year in terms of position.
Alright, yeah, you've seen the video, pretty shit. Start was actually really good, gained like 3 or 4 places, I don't exactly know how many. But yeah, after that I was just too slow, that's the only thing I can say. And it's pretty much my fault. Yeah, my mechanic and my team they always say that I am like my arms always stretch and they say that I cannot really feel the kart if I drive that way, and it sort of makes sense because if they ask why do you steer this much or why do you do this, I never have an answer for that. So that just means that I'm not capable or the position of the seat is not letting me observe the kart. But yeah, that's the weird thing. I didn't have that problem before I quit. So it's a new thing, and unlearning something is more difficult than learning something, if that makes sense. So what we've done to kind of combat that is we've dropped the steering wheel down quite a bit so it's closer to me, so I physically can't stretch my arms like that. So we'll just see how that goes. So I was like 13th across the line, finished P10 because of some penalties.
Welcome to the first final of the weekend. We of course managed to get a starting position of P10 by finishing P10 in the pre-final. This time we start on the outside, so it's important to go to the inside of the first corner as soon as possible. We get into the tram lines, 5 red lights and away we go. We managed to go to the inside immediately because the person next to us got a bad start. Now braking for T1, a lot of pushing and elbows out. We get pushed slightly wide, making us lose places, and then some trouble ahead, and of course we lose more places because of that. We get a poor run out of the next corner as well and lose yet another place to the number 333. It actually manages to sweep around the outside. This start definitely wasn't too good, but hey, at least we kept our nose clean and we are still in the race. Now skipping ahead to the start of lap 2, we got some heavy defending from the 320 kart there and he manages to keep his place. But a little further up the road there is trouble as someone throws a lot of dirt out on the track. Sadly we cannot benefit from anything and we have to follow the next group through. As we are braking for the next corner we get quite a hefty tap from behind, but luckily we are able to keep it on the track. A couple of laps later we are at the same point on the track as more chaos happens in front of us. The 354 gets slowed down. We try to overtake him around the outside, but we are sadly unable to do so. This race seemed to be going not good for us, but here's one thing which was positive. The new placement of the steering wheel actually did help me to control the kart better and I had quite decent race pace. However, that didn't really change our straight line speed, and when we didn't have slipstream ourselves, we were pretty much just sitting duck on the straights, as we now get overtaken by not one, but two karts. Often when you get overtaken in karting, you will lose multiple positions at once, which is the case here too. We were now in P15, so we've got some work to do. We're skipping ahead to lap 6 of this race, and as you can see, we can actually keep up with this group. It's just a matter of waiting for the correct time to try and overtake, but then the 365 goes over top of 320, which was quite a hefty crash. If we have a look at the slow motion replay from the second onboard camera, you can see that the rear wheels touch, and that just sends the 365 flying up into the air. His name is Yuri, and he's actually quite an active member of my Discord server, which you should totally join, by the way. We are now the fastest growing karting and sim racing Discord, so feel free to join. The link is in the description. Anyways, a few laps later the field spread out again after some incidents on track, and there were a lot of DNFs. One of this incident caused some damage to the kart ahead of us, which you could now easily overtake. After the final overtake, we caught back up to the number 353. Going into the final lap now, we are slipstreaming. We get closer, but he shuts the door right in our face and we're forced to abort our attack. Then we try the switchback, but he counters us there as well, trying to do the switchback again into the next corner, but that sadly doesn't work out. There's one more cheeky overtaking spot I talked about, do you remember? Yes, that happened in the forest, but this time we are sadly too far away to try. Then, slipstreaming again on the back straight, we just can't get close enough to mount an attack, and sadly with all of the last few corners being fast and tight, we have to settle for our current position. We come across the line in P11, and because we got no penalties, we get promoted to P9, beating our previous best of P10 in the final. And unlike the pre-final, I was actually decently quick in this race. I enjoyed it a lot, and I showed that we were finally improving after all this time. It was a great feeling and the team was pleased. We achieved that result by having good awareness, keeping our nose clean in the races and setting consistent lap times. Bring on day 2.
Fast forward a few hours and we're back at the caravan. Yeah, I felt like the final was a little bit of an improvement. Yeah, just small steps every session. Of course we changed the steering position. That was definitely a little bit different. I had to get used to that for a little bit as well. But then once we got up to speed, yeah, the race pace just keeps improving every race, so that's good. Time to get some food now, and yeah, see you guys after that. Alright people, back in the caravan, currently polishing my helmet. Take good care of your helmet, guys. Very important. I'm teaching that guy who was next to us right there. I'm also teaching him how to take proper care of his helmet. So, anyways, yeah, I've had a little bit more time to reflect on the day, and I'm kind of satisfied with it. Okay, I had to relocate. You didn't see anything by me, but that's okay. Yeah, after a little bit of more thinking about today, kind of satisfied. Definitely not with qualifying, not with race 1. Well, the start was okay, but that's about it. So yeah, tomorrow I'm going to do qualifying by myself. You don't need a tow. It makes setting a good lap time easier, but you don't need it. It's not a necessity. Like, I did my best qualifying also without a tow back in 2020. So it's definitely possible. But yeah, in the final I feel like we made, yeah, progress. Well, not big progress, but a little bit. And my mechanic said if we start out tomorrow with what I learned today, then it's going to be a good day. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to finish polishing my helmet, get some sleep, and then we'll see. Good night. Alright people, good morning. Yes, day 2, well actually race day 2. For the wonderful night of sleep again, and well, let's see what we can do today. Luckily this time it didn't rain during the night, and we don't have a mud bath at our tent now. Well, I'm having it now for the first time, let's see. Oh no, that's fine. So, day 2. This is a completely fresh start, so no results from yesterday are being carried over into this day. Actually, yesterday is officially counted as round 4 of the Dutch Championship, and this day as round 5. I also decided that this time I was not going to mess up qualifying. And this time, I didn't. We had a good track position and I was able to set a lap without issues. So I did my job properly this time. The tires, however, didn't. We once again have bad luck and we got a set of poor quality tires. Now, at this time I didn't know this, but my team boss discovered it shortly after the final when he talked to another team boss who experienced the same problem with one of their drivers. Unlucky, but sadly it is part of the sport. Here's the lap. Qualified all the way down in P21. Not good, and we've got some work to do in the race. Alright, that was a shit qualifying. Yeah, I actually did have good track position this time, but now I just wasn't quick myself. I don't know why, I just wasn't able to get the car out of the corner properly. Really weird, didn't have that beforehand, but yeah, not good. Anyway, starting P21, have to avoid the carnage that will happen in T1. Outside or inside, I don't know yet. But yeah, we'll have 2 POVs again, GoPro and helmet cam. So let's see how we do. Time for pre-final number 2 of this weekend. We once again have the inside going into turn 1, so we should be able to use that to our advantage. This time we get off to a really average getaway, however, as the lights go out, and we lose ground before we even reach turn 1. This time there was a lot of space around the outside, so I decide to gamble it and go around the outside. It sadly immediately backfires when an incident happens right in front of us and we lose all momentum. In the next corner we have to brake for a slower driver, which again destroys our momentum, and we lose another position. Also, it sadly became clear very quickly that all of the pace and improvement we had yesterday was gone. I struggled to keep up with the group ahead, until they started battling. Here I tried to go for a move, gave the guy a little tap, only to be boxed in, overtake someone completely differently and get overtaken around the outside by someone who just yeeted it. Yeah, karting can be crazy sometimes. Then, a little while later on, you can see that we were still struggling with straight line speed. Our bad tires didn't help, of course, so we had to rely on good old late braking to do overtakes, which is what we did. We then caught up to the next group. An opportunity to strike presented itself after only a couple of corners, so I took it. After that, the pace and exit from the final quarter started improving a little bit, and we were able to use slipstream and overtake this other driver. But as we then caught up to the next group, I made a mistake. Yeah, the other drivers were slowing down so much that I completely bogged down, which allowed the 369 to overtake me. He was probably a bit further back so he could take momentum into the corner. What I did wrong here was not going for this gap. The quote, "if you're not going forwards, you'll go backwards," proves itself once again here. Then a little while later, another disaster. Yeah, that crash happened so quickly that I didn't really have time to react. I bumped the 369, which slowed me down a lot, allowing 2 other drivers to pass. But worst of all, I got a 5-second front fairing penalty. This is a penalty unique to karting. Our front bumpers are mounted in such a way which allows them to be pushed in when you hit something. So when you purposely hit someone, the stewards can tell. But in cases like this, the penalty is nowhere near justified. There is sadly no way to dispute the front fairing, so it was a complete disaster. Only a little while later, the race was over. What a complete mess. Time for the last race of the weekend, the final on Sunday. Because of our disastrous pre-final, we're lined up on the grid in P22. We roll out to the tram lines for the last time this weekend, 5 red lights and away we go. We get a decent getaway and we're able to stick to the pack. We give the 333 a light tap in the braking zone, but it doesn't affect either of us, but then another incident happens right in front of us. We're able to avoid it but still lose a buttload of time to the pack. Luckily we caught back up after only a few laps and now it was time to move forwards. Here I thought the 333 was going for a move once again, but he doesn't and we brake too late and oh, that was not on purpose, but we completely took him out.
He was already going sideways by a little bit and our tap just completely finished him off. I'm sorry if you're watching this, but it was really not on purpose. Luckily the steward saw it was not on purpose and I didn't get a penalty for that. We move on a couple of laps and gain a free position because the guy ahead loses control. A little over a lap later, it scales up ahead and we have a little look up the inside, which turns into a beautiful move. With no time to waste, we immediately take another position which pushes us up to P19. That could have ended a lot worse, so props to the other guys for noticing me up the inside. After being stuck behind an overly defending number 367, the 302 catches back up to us, tries to overtake us but overshoots the corner, so we do the switchback and take his place back. A lap later we get a good enough exit to be able to make a move on the 367 kart into the first corner. Then on lap 16 going on to 17 we catch up to the 369, watch him pull away on the straight, catch back up, then just completely send it up his inside. That is probably my favorite move of the weekend. Sadly the race was just too short to also take the number 315. If the race was one lap longer we probably would have passed him. We finished P17 on track but we get promoted to P15 after penalties were applied. Yeah, definitely a day to forget. We showed great improvement on Saturday, but unfortunately, luck wasn't with us on Sunday. We accept it, analyze and come back stronger the next time.
Well guys, what can I say? Yeah, gave it my everything, didn't work out quite the way we wanted it to. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, a bit disappointed, but you know, that's life. That's racing. That's life. Anyways guys, with that also comes the end to this video. Now if you enjoyed that then please consider hitting those like and subscribe buttons, you know you massively help me when you do that. Also there's something very special coming in about 2 weeks time, so make sure to subscribe and don't miss that one. There'll be 2 other videos on screen right now that you might enjoy, but for now that was it. Peace.